In light of the explosive allegations from alleged witness Joe Burns, the timeline of Kurt Cobain's April 1994 death has faced some radical alternative auditing. Burns alleges a coordinated physical confrontation inside the Lake Washington home, claiming a three-man team consisting of Dylan Carlson, Mark Lanegan, and a giant third enforcer cornered Kurt Cobain in the basement. According to this account, they immobilized Kurt with a lethal hot shot before moving him to the greenhouse, where a final staged gunshot was heard. In contemplating this theory, researchers argue that you gotta follow the money and check out the lucrative cachet of material assets funneled directly from Courtney Love to Mark Lanegan in the immediate wake of the tragedy. Shortly after Kurt's death, Courtney Love handed Kurt's vintage 1965 Dodge Dart directly to Mark Lanegan. Think about the timing, though. Kurt had purchased this classic car only about a month before his death. Buying a vintage car with push-button controls is the behavior of an artist looking forward to the future, contradicting the pathologically suicidal narrative. Lanegan eventually placed Kurt's Dodge Dart in a storage unit, which he lost after failing to pay for it, leading to the whole collection being auctioned off to pay off his unpaid rent. Here's a clip from Gary Lee Conner from the Screaming Trees telling all of that. Let's listen!
But anyway, all these tapes got put in a closet at Susan Silver, who was our first manager at her office in Seattle. And then a few years later, when we parted ways with her, Lanegan took them, and I guess he had them in his apartment. And at some point, he actually apparently pawned the tapes. Not sure if that happened or not, but I think he might have got them back. But then they were supposedly in a storage unit, and the storage unit lapsed and got taken away from him. So that who else knows what kind of stuff was in there? Oh yeah, it also there was also Kurt Cobain's old Dodge Dart that was in there too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Now ask yourself how all of this connects back to Courtney Love's wealth. In his memoir, Sing Backwards and Weep, Lanegan acknowledged that around 1997, Courtney Love personally financed his extended stay in an elite psychiatric and inpatient rehab facility while also covering his monthly rent to keep him afloat. High-end private residential treatment programs in the late 1990s routinely cost between $15,000 to $30,000 a month, with Lanegan requiring an extended multi-month stay alongside independent rent coverage. The total capital required easily scaled into the tens of thousands of dollars. Researchers flagged the sheer size of this off-the-books financial lifeline given to an insider who might have had some inside knowledge as to what happened in April 1994. Mark Lanegan's lyrics right before he died on his final albums also seem to express a little bit of guilt about stuff that has the same iconography as the alleged facts pointed out by alleged eyewitness Joe Burns. Look at the track Basement Door. The title itself calls out the exact location where Joe Burns claimed the confrontation took place. In it, Lanegan sings line for line, "But now I have a debt to pay. Before I leave from here, I will leave this ugly place through the basement door." Critics argue an explicit nod to the Kurt Cobain murder. In his 2021 track, Sunday Night 2:30 a.m., matches when Joe Burns says the gunshot was heard. He features a precise forensic timestamp singing Sunday night in the AM 2:32, my trigger finger all blistered and blue from 24 hours of turning the screw. And then we have the 2020 track, Hanging On, dedicated to Dylan Randolph Carlson, where Lanegan sings of a heavy pact of silence. You've always held your tongue despite what evil thing I'd done.